the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call council, please. Councilmember Gregory is absent. Councilmember Jones.
Here.
Councilmember Hayes.
Here.
Councilmember Rivera is absent. Councilmember Putnam.
Here.
Councilmember Steiger.
Here.
And Councilmember Walker is absent.
Move to excuse Councilmember Walker, Gregory, and Olivera.
Second.
Okay. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Are there any additions or changes to tonight's agenda? Zach?
Yeah.
You can say it from there.
Okay. There are a couple resolutions, that's old business A and B on the agenda, Parks Board participation in Earth Days and Parks Board participation in Pacific Days. There are some questions on some of the wording and some of the coordinating with the Pacific Partnership, so we're asking to have those removed from the agenda, and we'll work on the language with them a little bit more and bring it back at the next study session or council meeting.
Are there any other changes to tonight's agenda?
Second.
All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Next up is audience comment. I have no sheets in front of me. Is there anybody that would like to speak to anything that is not on tonight's agenda? Okay. And then we'll move on to the mayor's report. And I have a couple items to you. Okay. First of all, I want to thank everybody who showed up for Pacific Seahawk Rally. I think it was a really good turnout, and it turned out to be a real fun event. And I especially want to thank staff for putting that together and making that happen, as well as Valley Regional Fire Authority and Ladder 31 for coming out and helping us with the pictures. So everybody had a pretty good time, I think, and it was a lot of fun, and we'll get them next time, right? So, and let's see, I'm sure Richard will be recording on this, but I wanted to share that we had our exit with, review with the audit. We have a clean audit. There were no findings, but I did want to mention that the auditors commented on how professional our staff was and the mess that they had working through from changing from the software from Springbrook to Bias and everything else that was included in all of that, and they're very impressed with the professionalism and the staff and how they put that together, got everything to them timely and in a really good manner. So great job to the finance department, and well done. Thank you very much. This Wednesday at the pre-PIC meeting, the Sound Cities Association has their Public Issues Committee this Wednesday. And they have a workshop that's always an hour before a pre-PIC. And I wanted to invite all of council, if they are interested, because Ann McFarlane will be there from Jurassic Parliament. And she's going to be doing a free workshop, and all the council is invited if they want to go. It's from 6 to 7 at Renton City Hall. And the title is 6 Types of Obnoxious Remarks and How to Respond. So she'll be doing an hour on basically dealing with comments. And so I just want to let you know, if you guys are interested, if anybody wants to go, let me know, and I'll give them a heads up so that they have enough material for everybody. I've had several questions regarding the medical marijuana businesses and why they're still open after council has passed the ordinance. And I just want to let everybody know that there's a process that needs to be take place, and we're in that process. And so we hope to have those businesses closed in the near future, and I just want to thank everybody for their patience and allowing us to work through that process to get there. Just want to let everybody know I will not be attending next week's workshop. I will be down in Olympia attending the Association of Washington Cities Legislative Conference. And one other thing, this weekend, I received several emails over the weekend regarding council rules and procedures. And it appears that our past practice is not following our own rules. And so, anyway, so Council President Ken Walker had reached out to me and asked if we could put it on the agenda for the March workshop for everybody to take a look at it And so moving forward, we'll just continue as we have been, the way we have been moving forward. But I will try to make sure on public comment, which I didn't have a chance to prove that tonight, but that we will do a response. And if I have been neglectful in doing that, I apologize, because it's never my intent to ignore a comment that citizens have made and not refer it to a committee or even express if we were taking any action or not. And so I just want everybody to know it's never my intent to ignore anybody. I always want people to feel heard, and I want people to feel that they can speak up. So my apologies if anybody has felt that way. And so I will work better at that moving forward. So with that, that ends my report. We'll move on to the city administrator.
Good evening. The next uniform union negotiation is scheduled for this Thursday, and I'll be meeting with less of the council tonight in executive session to discuss that. Staff is currently continuing to work on the 2014 year-end financial reports. The plan is to bring them before council at the workshop next week on Tuesday, and then go to the finance committee with them, which will be next Thursday, a week from Thursday. Bring them back for passage by the 23rd. Hopefully everything goes well this week so we can do that. As the mayor said, the exit conference for the 2013 State Audit was held last Tuesday, and it was attended by myself, and the lead finance technician. And there were 2 state auditors in attendance, and as Leanne said, they seemed like they were really pleased with how we've established a relationship with them, and not only cleaned up what was a mess, but have established proper practices in place so that it continues to go that way. And I can't take much of the credit because my staff has done a really great job. They were here when this mess was going on, and they did what they could to mitigate it. And now with just, me being supportive and having them do the things that they're good at, it's worked out really well. They have good relationships with the auditors, and especially Pam, who's the lead finance technician, has really helped me tremendously to get things turned around so that we spend less money on the audits and have cleaner audits. So hopefully we'll continue that and not make that a non-issue in the future. The next audit will be either late October or early November. So anyway, I just want to say my team is what needs to be praised because they did such a good job. I'm currently working with Auburn's IT staff to bring bid quotes to the technology committee a week from Thursday also. That meeting is that night at 5. On council chamber's sound system, as well as processes for setting up city social media, which is Facebook page and a Twitter account, and the appropriate policy. I'm going to work with Amy on that as well as Auburn's IT. One of the things I found out from talking with our attorney, I met with her before the meeting tonight, we don't have to go through the bid process. We have a company that works called Avidex that works on a contract with the University of Washington, so we'd be piggybacking on that. But because of the cost, I'm going to look into that anyway. That's what the technology committee wanted. So I'm hopeful that we can get that wrapped up by the 19th, so we can bring it to council in March, because I know these things are getting really old. So that's the goal, and we'll keep you appraised of that through the committee. Due to the challenge of reviewing accounts payable, which I understand, it's difficult sometimes to get in here, and they're getting bigger and bigger. Councilmember Walker has talked to me about how the RFA does it, and so I'm going to do some reviewing of the city code with our attorney to see if we can't make a few changes so that you can look at it online without actually having the checks and the bills. And then if you see some, so it'd be by vendors, check number, and the amount. And then if you saw a few that you didn't understand or had questions about, we could pull them out for the meeting and make it a lot easier than having to go through the whole stack all the time. So I'll report back to you, probably the finance committee. We'll discuss that with finance committee next week and then report back to you in March on that. Speaking about that meeting with the city attorney, we did talk about code enforcement, and the marijuana businesses were discussed. And I know that Jack might report on that, but that we're going to be moving forward on that. Hopefully the council will be pleased with that. And that's all I have tonight.
I have a question.
Councilmember Gregory?
Since you were meeting with the attorney, did she mention anything on the garbage contract?
She is looking over the new one because we just got it back today from Laura.
Did I send it back to her, they just were revisiting?
No, yes, we did, and she just put it with her attorneys, and they had some comments, and so now it's back in our attorney's hands, and she's gonna look at it tomorrow, and should have it completed by tomorrow. So hopefully, we get it done by tomorrow, it'll be ready for the meeting next week, because we do plan on having them come next Tuesday to discuss the contract.
All right.
So that's the goal.
Councilmember Pettit?
Great to hear the clean audit. I know in the past we've had some no findings, but some of the management notes on things they'd like to see improved. Did we have any of those this year?
No management notes. They said it was a very, kind of for them, a boring audit because it's nothing to like. Which I like, those are my...
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I mean, we've always had something they didn't like.
Well, I'm telling you, staff is, that's the one area I think all I had to do was show them, let them go and they could do it, and they prepare me so well that they're the best I've worked with on doing that. Usually I have to do the yeoman part of that, but Pam and Heather and Angelica work so well together to get that done that I'm really pleased with them. But thank you, I'll tell them.
Any other questions?
Thank you.
So, with council's pleasure, if I could, we suspend the rules. We have Representative Carol Gregory here. I've invited her to address council to talk about what is going on down in Olympia, and maybe to address council for like 5 minutes, just to give a brief everybody to introduce yourself to council. So,
Move to suspend the rules.
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you very much, and I appreciate the indulgence. Come on up, Carol.
Thank you very much. I'm glad to see this building. We have introduced the proposal that you have given us to do some work on this building or begin the process for replacement. And I know I've been here before, but I didn't remember it. Now I do, so I'll know what I'm talking about. I'm Carol Gregory, and I am the new representative in the 30th District. I was appointed by the governor and replaced Roger Freeman, who unfortunately passed away after being elected in November. What's happening? It's a fascinating time because there are a lot of things right now under the surface. We're going through the routine of policy making, but you know that the McCleary decision is going to be before us and how we pay for that. There is a lot of work being done in higher education, and questions are being asked like, why should we fund McCleary if kids don't have a place to go to college? And so that's there as well. In the last, 20, 30 years, we've gone in the state from being for the individual cost to the taxpayer, the tax burden, we've gone from 11th in the country to 35th. Well, for some that might sound great, but what's really happened is we have continued to cut just about everything in government. We have a very serious transportation issue for the South King, North Pierce counties, which I'm sure you're interested in, which is Highway 167 for Federal Way that's finishing the triangle. Our economy depends on getting this transportation package through, particularly for our end of the county. I'm hopeful. It's very clear that everybody understands there is no money left in transportation. We had a 10-year initiative, and we're at the 10th year. So a lot of work is going on behind the scenes, but we haven't seen it yet. So we're kind of in a wait and see. I'm on education and higher education and state government, and so we're proceeding on, but the big issues are still to come, and those are almost all appropriations. It's been a fascinating experience because I got appointed 2 days before the session started. So everyone had had orientation and, knew what they were doing, and I did find my office, but that was about all I knew the first day. It was quite an experience, but we're up and running and excited, and I'm happy to answer questions. I will say, my position, or the 30th District Position 2, will be the only legislative race run in November. So if you think you've gotten a lot of contacts last time, this is going to be crazy because the split in the House is 51-47. So any change is looming, and I've heard that this could cost as much as $1 million for one legislative race. My view of that is let's give it to the food bank and flip a coin. I mean, that just sounds outrageous to me. I just want to forewarn you. Politics is going to be real in the 30th District because there are going to be so many people across the state that are going to be impacted by how this election goes. So anyway, I'm happy to answer questions. I'm really pleased to be here.
We appreciate you coming and taking time out of your busy schedule.
No problem.
So, Councilmember Case.
You mentioned the tax burden. Is that for education or is that in general?
That was in general.
So we're the 35th highest tax state now in the country?
Lowest.
But, I mean, ranking, one being the highest, we're at the 35th highest, meaning we're below half. Okay, thank you.
And, in a lot of ways, that's not all bad, but when you look at how we've done it, we've kind of robbed everybody that we could rob, and now we're left with a lot of issues that have hit us all at once.
Councilmember
Yes.
Putnam.
I know you're primarily dealing with the legislature's ability to fund the state transportation initiatives, but at the local level, cities all over the state, counties all over the state have a structural shortfall on money to just plain maintain the streets we've already got. King County has a published list of streets that are going to be allowed to go back to gravel. Kent is talking about allowing some residential neighborhoods to go back to gravel. We've got more potholes than we can possibly hope to fix with the budget we've got. And cities don't have the revenue alternatives that the legislature does. Is there any action coming on giving cities sustainable financing for maintenance of the streets we've got?
Not that I've heard, but I'm happy to do some research and see if anybody has anything. We haven't gotten into the appropriation side yet, so we're just beginning to see activity. I mean, there's been some, but we're just beginning to see more public activity there. But I will happily check into that. But I think what you're seeing is the state at a crisis with some of its issues, and they just filter down to everybody. And I'm not saying that cutting back isn't a good thing, but at some point you pay the price for what you've done, and McCleary just exacerbated that issue greatly, and so we've got that plus all of the others, but I'll look into that.
Further questions? Questions from the audience? No? Staff? Nobody? Okay. Well, again, Carol, thank you so much for coming down and visiting us and introducing us both.
And we are working on your capital request for this building, and
We need it.
hopefully we'll get moving on it.
Maybe Richard to give you a little tour.
Thanks again.
Thank you, Carol. Really appreciate your
Thank you for
time. Thank
coming.
you. All right. So next up, we have community service.
So good evening. Enclosed in the package are January's numbers from the youth program. The senior numbers will be at the next city council meeting. The youth program and the senior center will be having their Valentine's Day party on Thursday. There'll be games, snacks, and art projects, that type of thing. Joanne is going to be attending a luncheon at the Seroptimus on the 18th of this month. At this luncheon, she is awarded a check for her youth program. This month for our Meals on Wheels for Pacific and Algona, there was only two clients that were delivered to. If anybody knows of a friend, anything for Meals on Wheels, let me know, and I will fill out the contract if that's what it takes. I was contacted by Pierce County Health Department on diabetic blood screening, and it will be held on Monday, March 9th, from 10 to 12 in the multi-purpose room in the senior center. It's free to the whole public. Anybody over 18 is allowed to come. The second annual Citizens Appreciation Dinner will be held on March 28th. The doors will open at 4:30, dinner from 5 to 7. Tickets are $10, $5 for a child under 12 years of age, and family tickets with 5 members or under are $25. The menu, as I suggested before, is pulled pork, baked beans, and coleslaw. I'm now accepting applications for Citizens of the Year nominations, either by my mail, email, or hand delivery by March 16th. Please submit 250 words or less by a citizen should be considered for this recognition. Please contact Joanne and I for pre-purchase of our event ticket. And that's all I have.
Question? Have you had the opportunity to talk to council about helping out or serving?
No, I have not had the pleasure.
We'll give them a heads up that they'll be making that clear.
Yes, we will, just like last year. That was very fun.
Thank you.
Thank you.